Sports bettors, I already have some massive UFC college football bets open for this weekend, but what I'm going to be taking you through in this video are some of my favorite NFL bets. So lines are on the move. It's obviously coming to a critical part in the season, and I say this all the time, but as a sharp bettor, we want to look for NFL bets all week long. This market is dynamic. This market is constantly moving. Weather is changing, moving around totals in the NFL. Right? Lineups are changing. Players are getting injured. Sharp actions coming in. As all these lines move around, as a profitable bettor, we're kind of hunting and looking for value. So one of the first plays I found is from the OddsJam Positive EV tool. So this is a tool I use a lot, and I really like it because it's really simple, right? This tool just shows you value. So you can see the highest profit margin play for the sportsbooks that I use. Right, it defaults to just show you all sportsbooks in your location, so all Arizona sportsbooks for me, but then I filtered some out that I don't use as frequently. And you can see David Montgomery under 57.5 rushing yards is the first play available on Caesars. We can get this at plus 106. So why do we like it? Well, we're getting plus 106, we're getting plus money. DraftKings, BetOnline, and Pinnacle all have Montgomery under 57.5 rushing yards as the favored outcome. And we're getting plus 106. Just think about that. That's pretty incredible, right? We may have to double down and bet a little more on that right here. So if we go back, it actually just moved to minus 101. So you're not going to be able to tail this play, unfortunately, it looks like. But this is a good example. You know, I bet this plus 106, it's down to minus 101, of just kind of how dynamic this market is, right? A sharp bettor, you know, action clearly started coming in. A lot of OddsJam customers, I assume, saw this bet pop up and were like, dang, DraftKings, BetOnline, and Pinnacle, you know, Pinnacle is the sharpest bookmaker in the world, the most efficient betting market. They all have the under favored. We can get it plus 106. It's just a no-brainer. This is clearly a play that beats the vig, beats the juice, and the profit margin is 4.23%. So that's the first play I locked in. I also parlayed these two bets together. So we have the Texans plus 16.5 and then Donovan Mitchell over 26.5 points. So you can see this is on Betway, $200 at plus 269 odds. So I actually have to add this to my sheet where I'm tracking profit and loss, but I'll go ahead and just do that very briefly. So we have the Texans plus 16.5, and then we have Donovan Mitchell tonight, so this bet's on 12-14, over 27.5 points. So that's another parlay I went with. And again, this also shows you it's over 26.5. I apologize, but this also shows you the importance of just like having multiple sports books, right? You never know where the profitable bets are going to occur. Here's one on Caesars. Here's two on Betway, right? All these sports books, they try to set lines independently. They want to do it on their own. So as a sharp bettor, we're ruthlessly comparing the lines on DraftKings to BetOnline to Pinnacle, all these different sports books, and looking for value. So I locked in this play. You know, and this goes for any sport. So just as an example of another bet I'm on, right, is Zubac over 8.5 points. You know, finding value, like, it's just like being an investor or a day trader. You know, you don't care if the value's in, you know, tech stocks, or, you know, whatever, healthcare stocks, whatever, football versus basketball, you know, one industry versus another industry. We're hunting for value. Look how wild this play is. We're getting Zubac over 8.5 points at plus 116 on Caesars. You can see right here, FanDuel has this minus 102, Unibet plus 102, DraftKings minus 115. No sportsbooks giving us odds above minus 105. And the consensus is like, you know, that maybe the under should be slightly favored. We're getting plus money. Wild, right? This is what's so powerful about sportsbooks having different odds, is you treat every book as an independent data point of where the line should be set, and you hunt for inefficiencies, right? And the reason the OddsJam EV tool is so useful for that is there's, you know, millions of odds on sportsbooks, and we just saw this Montgomery line move from plus 106 to minus 101. So like these lines can move quick. There's millions of odds across sportsbooks that are updating in real time on OddsJam. You just hit the refresh button to see the latest opportunities. Is, you know, great bets like Zubac over 8.5 points, they're not going to last forever. So you got to move quick. And OddsJam's constantly scanning the market, trying to point out these inefficiencies, these bets where you actually have an edge to you. So 5.62% profit margin on this play. So long story short, we have, this is Texans plus 16.5, D Mitch over 26.5 points tonight. 12.18, $200. So Betway here limited me to $200. So this is the reason a lot of people ask me like, oh, if you're so profitable, if you're so good at making money sports betting, why don't you just do this full time? Is Betway, you can actually see if I like go back to this game, we can actually see if I try to bet more on it, you know, let's say $400 on this Donovan Mitchell play, your wager exceeds the maximum bet allowed, right? Please reduce your wager amount and try again. So like, you know, it's cool and all, sports betting and making money sports betting, and it can be a really profitable side hustle, but that's the reason like people don't want to be full-time sports bettors for the most part, is it's scary, right? These books can cut you off at any point and limit your stake. But you can definitely make money doing it, right? And the reason is all these sports books have different odds. So another tool I like to use to find profitable bets is the OddsJam arbitrage tool. So if you're new to the word arbitrage, right, we know sportsbooks set lines independently. They make their money from this VIG, you know, the spread that they charge. Is sometimes these sportsbooks, you know, screw up so big or they're so far apart that you can place a bet on the over on one sportsbook, on the under on another sportsbook, so equal and opposite outcomes, and earn a risk-free profit, right? It's literally earning a risk-free profit sports betting. That is arbitrage betting. So you can see here, the Dolphins-Bills game, yeah. The Dolphins team total is minus 110 on the over 15.5 on WinBet. The under 15.5 is plus 115 on Betway. You could arb this and earn a risk-free return. Arb just means arbitrage bet, and earn a risk-free return of 1.11%. So you may be wondering, did I arb this? And no, I did not arb this. Actually, what I like to do is use the arb tool as, you know, a way to find profitable bets. So what I mean by that is, you know, we've already said, you know, this is just the Bears-Eagles game. You know, there's millions of odds kind of across sports books. Is you're not going to be able to scan all these lines in real time. So the whole point of OddsJam is to make this data actionable. So unlike the EV tool, the ARB tool is pretty simple in that it just shows you where you can make risk-free money, right? So here it's on the Dolphins team total and the Bengals team total. And whenever you have an arbitrage bet, so if we can make risk-free money betting on the over on WinBet, you know, this calculator is called an arbitrage calculator. It tells you how much to put on the over and how much to put on the under to earn a risk-free profit. And you can see, like, another thing on arbitrage is a lot of people are like, oh, a 1.11% return doesn't sound that good. It's like this game is, you know, a few days away. Imagine earning a risk-free return of 1%, you know, 8 times a month. That's an 8% risk-free return monthly. It's incredible if you think about it. 8% monthly risk-free. That means arbing, you could earn 100% returns on capital every year, right? If you just placed a 1% arbitrage bet 8 times a month. So you can see here, like maybe your bankroll on WinBet is $500. On Betway, it's $443. You arb it, you just made a risk-free $1057. You're $1057 richer, you know? And then it's just a volume game. I say this all the time, but like, as a sharp bettor, I want as many positive EV bets as I can have on a daily basis. You want as many arbitrage bets, more is merrier. This is risk-free money. You just got to move quick and get your bets down before the lines move. But anyways, arbitrage also just means risk-free money. You know, it means risk-free money, which also means one of these bets has to be profitable by definition. You know, you can't have a market inefficiency where you can bet the over on one sports book, the under on a different sports book, and make a risk-free profit, right? Unless one bet is profitable. So one of these bets is profitable. Either WinBet on the over 15.5 or Betway on the under 15.5 at plus 115. So one of these bets is profitable. And if we click into the odds, what you'll notice is like, hey, WinBet has the Dolphins team total at 15.5. Most sports books have the over 16.5 at minus 120 or minus 124 or minus 121. So clearly, you know, like, for example, if you place over 16.5 on Unibet, you're getting worse odds and you're getting a higher number. If the Dolphins have exactly 16 points, granted it's not a common number for football, but you would win on WinBet, you would lose on Unibet if you bet the over, right? Because here the over 16.5, here the over's 15.5. So if the Dolphins have exactly 16 points, we're winning the over 15.5, right? So it's clear that there's good value at minus 110. Even minus 115. I think WinBet and Wind Creek, this is a Pennsylvania sportsbook, I think they share the same lines for the most part. But on WinBet, you're getting better odds. You're getting a full point better than the average, than every other sportsbook in the market. Seems pretty freaking good, right? So this is a play I locked in my parlay. And then I also locked in the Bengals under 24.5. So once again, I thought, WinBet appears to be the side off here. And yeah, it does. Every sportsbook has this minus 130 to minus 150, or they have the total set at 23.5. 24 is a common number in football, right? That's the Bengals having 3 touchdowns and 1 field goal, 24 points, right? 3 touchdowns, 1 field goal. So 24 versus 23.5 is a pretty big deal. And you can see sportsbooks either have the total for the Bengals set lower at 23.5, or they have the under 24.5 heavily juiced, and we're getting it at minus 110. So long story short, I ended up locking in that parlay, which you can see right here. So a bunch of bets open, but regardless, here you can see my parlay, 1.1K plus 264 odds. So, my bet on Zubac, from the EV tool, my bet on Montgomery, backing out the profit margin of your bets is pretty simple. You just take your percent, right? Your profit margin, and you multiply it by your stake. So for Zubac, it was 5.62%. I hit it for $500. So our bet has 2810 in EV, or in profit margin. EV just means profit margin, expected value. So EV percentage just means profit margin as a percent. It's also referred to as your edge in sports betting. So 4.36% edge, 4.36% EV, 4.36% profit margin, all means the same thing. And then you just multiply it by your stake to get your profit margin in dollars. So for the Zubac play, $500, 5.62% profit margin, multiply those together. This bet is worth 2810 in EV, right? The profit margin of this bet is 2810. So you may be wondering again, what does that mean? And what it means is if you tried to give me a $20 bill for my bet, I would tell you to go away because my bet is worth more. It's worth $28.10. I don't want $20, right? And again, the reason it's you can't retire off the sports books or whatever is most of them have capped bet sizes. You'll notice if I go to basketball and let's say even on a point total, if I wanted to put in, $10,000, I hope they don't take this. I highly doubt it, but you're going to see, they're going to log me out. So what I'm actually going to do is if I just go back here and I try to place bet, you're going to see here the maximum stake allowed is 2,200. So most of these books, they limit your bet sizes. But anyways, I've been tracking profit and loss on all these plays. So here you can see the Dolphins-Bengals one, the NBA one, the Montgomery play I gave out, and then the Texans-Mitchell parlay. So a bunch of different bets for the NFL. Currently, we're at 41K profit, just tracking on the sheet. And again, not every day's a winner. Betting on every sport's just following a mathematical strategy. There will be ups and downs, but let's make some money.